Hidden deep within the frozen heart of Russia lies a land of absolute extremes, Siberia, a wilderness that is mesmerizingly beautiful, yet brutally merciless. For millions of years, the savage cold has forged the instincts of the creatures here into supreme weapons. They do not merely survive, they dominate, with claws, with fangs, and with an unbreakable will to live. In this documentary, we will journey through endless taiga forests and vast regions of permafrost to confront the most ferocious predators ever bestowed upon Earth by creation. This is Siberia Wild, territory of the world's most brutal predators. Siberia, the domain of the harshest extremes on Earth. A vast, desolate land where winter stretches like an endless death sentence. Here, when temperatures plunge to minus 58 degrees, or even minus 76 degrees, the cold becomes a razor-sharp weapon, ready to freeze all life in mere moments. Seen from above, this place resembles a silent ice prison, but behind its majestic and mute beauty lies a reality more ruthless than anywhere else. Every year, across the dense taiga forests and barren tundra, thousands upon thousands of bloody attacks take place. These are fateful confrontations between living beings. On one side are perfectly evolved hunting machines, and on the other are creatures that must gamble every last drop of blood to stay alive. Watch the bloody battles unfolding right before your eyes. The helpless struggle of prey in razor-sharp claws, the roar of the victor tearing through the night, and streaks of blood staining the white snow red. You are witnessing nature in its rawest and most brutal form. To survive and become the rulers of this land, predatory animals have endured millions of years of fierce evolution. Their bodies are the perfect fusion of muscle, speed, and the most advanced biological weapons. From claws capable of tearing flesh apart, to jaws with bite forces of hundreds of pounds, to perfectly insulating fur that turns them into invisible ghosts in blizzards. Their tactics are the crystallization of intelligence and survival instinct. Observe how they approach their targets, a patience that is terrifying. In the silent space, a shadow glides quietly across thick snow without making the slightest sound. Every muscle tenses, center of gravity lowered, all senses focused on a single point, the prey. Scientifically, Siberia's apex predators possess genius abilities to analyze space and calculate distance. They measure wind direction to prevent their scent from spreading. They use every tree trunk, every snowdrift, every bush to conceal their movements. The silence before the storm is always the most frightening kind. The prey has no idea that death is closing in. It does not know that every breath and every movement has already been locked in the reaper's sights. The distance steadily shrinks. Time seems to stand still. The hunter is in position. Once the invisible trap is sprung, the prey's chance of survival is nearly zero. A raw, tragic, and haunting image. The life of one creature is the price paid to sustain the life of another. It is the cruel but irreversible cycle of the natural food chain. Without these savage attacks, the populations of herbivore species would grow out of control. They would devastate the taiga forests and devour the already scarce vegetation in winter. When food sources run out, the total collapse of the ecosystem would be inevitable. The predators here act as biological engineers and guardians of nature. They cleanse the population, removing the old, weak, and sick, ensuring that only the healthiest genes are passed on to the next generation. Moreover, the death of prey is never wasted. In the harsh winter, a carcass serves as a massive energy station that saves countless other creatures. The apex predator eats the best parts to replenish energy after a tiring hunt. The remains then feed flocks of ravens, small foxes, and insects that scavenge beneath the deep snow. Which animal impressed you the most? Please leave a comment with your thoughts. And now, let us explore what weapons the predators of Siberia possess that allow them to survive in such an extreme environment. The Siberian tiger, also known as the Amur tiger, is not only the top predator in the vast taiga forests, but also a symbol of strength, resilience, and the ability to survive in the coldest region on the planet. Their ancestors appeared millions of years ago in eastern China, before migrating to the Russian Far East. As close relatives of the now extinct Caspian tiger, the Siberian tiger today is the northernmost tiger subspecies in the world. An adult male can weigh up to 660 pounds and measure nearly 10 feet from nose to tail. Their striking orange coat with black stripes is both beautiful and highly effective for camouflage in the wild. Beneath the thick fur lies powerful muscle built through thousands of years of evolution, allowing them to adapt to Siberia's harshest conditions. The strength of the Siberian tiger is best displayed in every hunt. With a single precise pounce, they can bring down adult red deer weighing several hundred pounds. However, their survival ability comes not only from muscle, but also from special adaptations to the freezing climate. Their double-layered fur allows them to withstand temperatures down to -58 degrees. The long, dense outer coat blocks cold wind, while the soft undercoat retains body heat. Their large paws with soft pads enable them to move silently across snow, turning them into silent hunters in the snow-covered pine forests. The main prey of Siberian tigers includes red deer, elk, and wild boar. Instead of rushing into attacks, they often spend many hours or even days tracking and waiting for the perfect moment. In the taiga forest, spanning roughly 6.6 million square miles, where prey is sparsely distributed, patience is the key to success. During times when prey is scarce, Siberian tigers may go hungry for many days, but still continue their silent hunting journey. The Sikhote-Alin Mountains in the Russian Far East are where most of these calculated and persistent hunts take place. Siberian tiger is not only an exceptional hunter, but also plays a vital role in the ecosystem. By controlling the numbers of deer, elk, and wild boar, they prevent herbivores from overpopulating and destroying vegetation. This helps maintain the natural balance of the taiga forest across generations. A single red deer can provide food for a tiger for nearly a week. The remaining carcass continues to nourish other species, such as wolves, ravens, and scavengers, creating a tightly connected ecological chain. In autumn, when the birch forests turn brilliant gold and red, the orange and black coat of the Siberian tiger blends perfectly with the landscape, as if nature itself created them to belong here. For indigenous peoples such as the Ivan and Chukchi, the Siberian tiger is more than just an animal. For generations, they have regarded the tiger as the soul of the ancient forest and a symbol of nature's power. Before each hunt, locals perform traditional rituals to show respect to the king of the deep woods. In folk tales passed down through the ages, the Siberian tiger is seen as a bridge between humans and the spiritual world, carrying the power of heaven and earth. However, today this species faces serious challenges. The wild population is now fewer than 500 adult individuals. Climate change is altering their habitat, while poaching for skins and bones remains a major threat. In response, vast nature reserves spanning tens of thousands of square miles and international conservation programs are working to protect and connect the remaining tiger populations. Thanks to these efforts, there is still hope that the king of the taiga will continue to roam the icy lands of Siberia in the future. On the rugged highlands of central Siberia, where the Yenisei and Angara rivers wind through vast rocky valleys, the snow leopard appears like a mysterious ghost of the high mountains. This is one of the rarest big cats in the world, famous for its incredible camouflage and adaptation to harsh environments. Their ancestors appeared millions of years ago and evolved to live on cold, high mountain slopes where snow covers the ground for most of the year and temperatures regularly drop below 32 degrees. Their silver-gray coat with black rosettes allows snow leopards to blend almost completely into rocky cliffs and white snow. When moving across treacherous terrain, they step so lightly they make almost no sound. Their large paws covered in thick fur act like natural snowshoes, helping them walk easily on deep snow. Their long tail, nearly half the length of their body, helps them maintain balance when climbing or leaping across jagged peaks. Snow leopards possess astonishing agility. They can leap distances of up to 33 feet, enough to cross wide crevasses or strike prey in an instant. Their favorite prey includes Siberian ibex, mountain sheep, and large rodents such as marmots. Unlike many other predators, snow leopards are extremely patient. They can lie in wait for hours on high cliffs, quietly observing before launching a precise attack. A full-grown ibex can provide enough food for a snow leopard for about a week, helping them conserve precious energy in the harsh environment. Their thick, double-layered coat not only keeps them warm against freezing northern winds, but also protects them at high altitudes. Their bright eyes and excellent vision allow them to detect the smallest movements among rocks and misty slopes, making the snow leopard a graceful, yet elusive figure in the wild. Life on the Siberian highlands is never easy. Every hunt demands perseverance, endurance, and the ability to move through high altitude and dangerous terrain. In autumn, when the sparse birch trees turn golden red among the dark green pine forests, snow leopards become even harder to spot. Their coats blend into the landscape as a natural part of the mountains. However, snow leopards are not just predators. They play a crucial role in maintaining the balance of the mountain ecosystem. By controlling populations of ibex and Siberian deer, they prevent herbivores from overgrazing and degrading vegetation on steep slopes. This keeps the high mountain areas stable and biologically diverse across generations. As solitary animals, snow leopards spend most of their lives in the quiet of the mountains. They rarely appear before humans, and usually leave only a few tracks in the snow or faint claw marks on rocks. Their range stretches across rugged mountain chains, where silence is broken only by the howling wind through valleys or the distant calls of ibex herds. In winter, when snow reaches depths of 1.6 to 6.5 feet, snow leopards become even harder to find, moving silently like shadows across the white expanse. Their solitary life helps them protect their territory and limited food sources in the high mountains. For the indigenous Chukchi people, the snow leopard symbolizes patience, strength, and extraordinary endurance. In many legends, they are regarded as the spirits of the high mountains, silently guarding sacred lands from human intrusion. However, the life of snow leopards today faces many new challenges. Climate change is altering highland environments, causing snow to melt earlier and affecting prey species like marmots. Although not heavily poached like Siberian tigers or Amur leopards, habitat shrinkage remains a major threat to their future. Scientists estimate there are currently about 2,500 to 3,000 snow leopards in Siberia and neighboring mountain regions. But this number may continue to decline if human pressure increases to protect this rare animal. Many nature reserves on the Siberian highlands are being expanded, along with the creation of ecological corridors connecting fragmented mountain areas. These efforts bring hope that the snow leopard will continue to exist as a mysterious symbol of Siberia's frozen mountains for generations to come. Far to the east, in the dense coniferous forests of the Russian Far East, the Amur leopard exists as one of the most astonishing miracles of the wild. This is the rarest leopard species on the planet, with fewer than 120 individuals remaining in the wild as of 2023. Their ancestors are believed to have migrated from eastern China over many generations, gradually adapting to the cold forests and rugged terrain of Siberia. Although smaller than the Siberian tiger, the Amur leopard is still a formidable hunter. An adult measures about 6 to 7 feet, including the tail, and weighs between 66 and 110 pounds. Their pale yellow coat with distinctive rosettes not only creates striking beauty, but also provides highly effective camouflage among tree trunks, bushes, and the white snow of the northern forests. Amur leopards are renowned for their agility and flexible movement. They can leap many feet in a single bound and are skilled climbers on tall trees or steep slopes. Their prey mainly consists of small deer, young elk, hares, and occasionally young wild boar, with their lightweight build, strong legs, and sharp claws. Amur leopards can move almost silently. Instead of long chases, they quietly approach their target before launching a surprise attack at close range. A small deer can provide food for an Amur leopard for 5 to 7 days. To prevent other animals from stealing their kill, they often drag the carcass to a hidden location or conceal it in dense bushes, demonstrating remarkable adaptation in a highly competitive environment. The life of the Amur leopard is a story of resilience and extraordinary survival ability. The coniferous forests of the Russian Far East were once ideal habitat, but they are now heavily impacted by human activity. Logging, infrastructure development, and poaching have caused natural forest areas to shrink. In autumn, when the forests turn brilliant gold and red, Amur leopards face greater challenges as prey becomes more alert and harder to approach. Nevertheless, they make full use of natural features such as bushes, rocky crevices, and steep slopes to get close to targets. Every successful hunt not only sustains their own life, but also helps control herbivore numbers, thereby maintaining forest ecosystem balance. For many indigenous communities in Siberia, such as the Yakut and Ivan, the Amur leopard symbolizes perseverance, intelligence, and wild beauty. In folk tales, they are often described as mysterious spirits of the deep forest, quietly watching over and protecting remote lands. However, the future of this animal remains precarious. With only just over 100 individuals left, each Amur leopard is extremely valuable for conservation. Losing even a few can significantly affect the entire population's ability to recover. Poaching for skins and body parts remains a major threat, alongside increasingly fragmented habitat. Climate change is also altering the northern forest ecosystem, affecting the numbers and behavior of the prey species the Amur leopard depends on. Still, there are positive signs for the future of this rare leopard. Many conservation programs in Russia have significantly reduced poaching incidents in recent years, while strengthening monitoring and protection of key habitats. Breeding centers, population recovery, and wildlife reintroduction programs are also being implemented to increase numbers in the wild. Additionally, many reserves in the Russian Far East have been expanded and connected by ecological corridors, giving Amur leopards more space to hunt, move, and breed. Every individual alive today is not only proof of nature's resilient spirit, but also a reminder of our responsibility to protect one of the rarest wild cats on Earth. The Amur leopard is not only an outstanding predator, but also a living symbol of resilience in the cold forests of Siberia. There are still more fearsome predators ahead. Stay tuned to this documentary. The gray wolf is one of the most successful predators in natural history. They have existed for more than 300,000 years and occupy vast territories, from the Arctic to taiga forests and the cold plains of Siberia. Unlike many solitary predators, gray wolves live in packs, usually consisting of 6 to 10 individuals. This bonding has made them among the most effective coordinated hunters in the wild. Wolves can reach speeds of about 37 miles per hour in short bursts and possess a bite force of up to 1,500 pounds per square inch, far stronger than many large dog breeds. Rather than relying solely on strength, they use tactics and teamwork to hunt. The pack coordinates to chase, separate, and target the weakest reindeer or deer. Their double-layered, thick fur helps them survive Siberia's harsh winters. The outer coat is water-resistant and windproof, while the soft undercoat retains body heat even at very low temperatures. Each day, a wolf pack may travel 12 to 16 miles in search of food, crossing snow-covered forests and vast plains. Their large paws with thick pads allow them to move easily over soft snow without sinking too deep. Under normal conditions, wolves maintain a steady pace to conserve energy, but when necessary, they can accelerate quickly to pursue prey. With bursts of speed reaching up to approximately 38 miles per hour during critical chases. Each pack member has a specific role. Some lead to detect tracks, while others help encircle or block escape routes. This seamless coordination greatly increases hunting success rates. In winter, when the West Siberian plains are covered in snow from 1.6 to 6.5 feet deep, wolves focus on old, injured, or slower animals. This strategy helps them save energy and reduce risk in the harsh environment. However, gray wolves are not just predators. They play a vital role in maintaining the balance of the Siberian ecosystem. By controlling populations of reindeer, elk, and deer, they prevent herbivores from overpopulating and degrading vegetation. Hunted prey not only feeds the entire wolf pack, but also becomes food for other species, such as Arctic foxes, ravens, and Eurasian lynx. This maintains a complex ecological network across generations. In summer, when snow melts and food is more abundant, wolf pups begin learning to hunt, track scents, and survive in the wild. This is a crucial period preparing them for adult life. The characteristic howl of wolves can carry for many miles across the taiga. It is not only a familiar sound of the wilderness, but also how they communicate, mark territory, and maintain pack bonds. For the indigenous Yakut people, the howl of the wolf is an inseparable part of the Siberian land. In many folk stories, wolves are seen as symbols of unity, courage, and the ability to overcome adversity. The Yakut believe this animal teaches humans cooperation, perseverance, and how to live in harmony with harsh nature. However, the life of gray wolves today also faces many pressures. Logging, expanding settlements, and climate change are altering their habitat. Shorter winters and changes in reindeer and other prey populations force many packs to travel farther to find food and maintain territory. Despite these challenges, the gray wolf remains one of the most adaptable predators in Siberia. Scientists estimate there are currently 30,000 to 40,000 individuals across the region. Their pack coordination, flexible diet, and remarkable endurance allow them to continue thriving in a changing environment. Many protected areas in the West Siberian Plains and Russian Far East are helping safeguard wolf habitats and allowing packs to grow. Gray wolves are not only warriors of the wilderness, but also an essential part of the natural balance in Siberia, where strength, intelligence, and teamwork combine to create one of the most impressive survival stories in the animal kingdom. In the forests and vast plains of western Siberia, the brown bear, especially the Kamchatka brown bear, is one of the most impressive animals. When standing on their hind legs, they can reach heights of about 10 feet and weigh between 660 and 1,400 pounds. Their thick brown fur helps them adapt easily to cold climates and blend into the vast taiga landscape. Brown bear ancestors have lived in Siberia for hundreds of thousands of years and gradually adapted to diverse environments, from dense forests to grasslands and wetlands. During salmon spawning season, they gather along major rivers such as the Ob and Irtysh to hunt. An adult bear can eat 20 to 35 pounds of fish daily to build up massive fat reserves for the long winter. With strong legs and claws about 4 inches long, they can easily catch salmon fighting through fast currents. However, fish are not the only food source for brown bears. They also eat berries, roots, insects, and many other plants. This makes brown bears important for seed dispersal and forest regeneration. In autumn, when Siberian forests turn golden red, mother bears begin teaching their cubs survival skills such as finding food, catching fish, and choosing safe dens in rock caves or under large tree roots. Not only powerful predators, brown bears also contribute to the biodiversity of the ecosystem. For the indigenous Even people, the brown bear is regarded as the brother of the forest, a symbol of strength, wisdom, and the connection between humans and nature. In contrast to the forest life of brown bears, the polar bear rules the frozen sea ice in northern Siberia. This is the largest land carnivore in the world, weighing between 880 and 1,540 pounds and measuring nearly 10 feet long. To survive the harsh environment, they possess a layer of fat about 4 inches thick and special fur that retains heat efficiently. Although they appear white, each hair is actually nearly transparent and reflects surrounding light, helping them blend with snow and ice. As excellent swimmers, they can swim hundreds of miles through icy waters in search of food. Their most important prey is the ringed seal, which provides enormous amounts of fat and energy. With large paddle-like paws and an extremely keen sense of smell, they can detect seals from great distances or patiently wait for hours beside breathing holes in the ice. However, the life of polar bears is becoming increasingly difficult. Global warming causes sea ice to melt earlier and form later, shrinking their traditional hunting grounds. This forces many individuals to swim farther and expend more energy to find food. According to IUCN estimates, there are only about 26,000 polar bears left in the wild, and the species is classified as vulnerable. As the apex predator of the Arctic, polar bears help control seal populations and maintain the balance of the marine ecosystem. For the indigenous Chukchi people, they are the spirit of the ice, symbols of resilience and survival ability in the harshest environment on Earth. Although they live in two completely different worlds, brown bears and polar bears actually share common ancestors from millions of years ago through long evolutionary processes. One species adapted to the vast forests of Siberia, while the other became the ruler of the northern sea ice. Each plays a unique role in the ecosystem, contributing to the balance and vitality of Siberian nature. They are not only the giants of the north, but also living proof of life's remarkable ability to adapt to the most extreme conditions on Earth. Lake Baikal, the deepest freshwater lake in the world at approximately 5,380 feet, is home to the Baikal seal, the only freshwater seal species on the planet. The lake holds more than 20% of the world's unfrozen freshwater and is one of the most unique ecosystems on Earth. Thousands of years ago, when ancient glaciers receded, the ancestors of the Baikal seal became isolated in the lake and gradually evolved to fully adapt to freshwater. Today, their population is estimated at 70,000 to 100,000 individuals. An adult measures about 3 to 5 feet long and weighs between 110 and 154 pounds. Their silver gray fur and thick layer of blubber help them stay warm in the year-round cold water. Their large eyes have excellent vision in low light, aiding them in hunting at great depths. Baikal seals can dive to depths of about 1,312 feet to hunt the oil-rich Golomyanka fish found only in Lake Baikal, consuming about 6.6 to 11 pounds of food daily. Beneath the crystal-clear waters of Lake Baikal, Baikal seals are true swimmers. They move with great agility thanks to their streamlined bodies and limbs perfectly adapted for diving. Every hunt combines speed, skill, and excellent orientation in deep water. Not only a rare endemic species, the Baikal seal also plays an important role in maintaining the lake's ecological balance. By controlling populations of small fish, they help stabilize the ecosystem that supports more than 3,700 species. In spring, when the ice begins to melt and nutrient inflow from rivers increases, Baikal seals enter their breeding season. Pups are raised on remaining ice floes amid the majestic scenery of the Siberian mountains surrounding the lake. Sharing this unique ecosystem is the Eurasian otter, one of the best adapted semi-aquatic animals to freshwater environments. They measure about 24 to 35 inches long, not including their strong tail of 12 to 18 inches. Their extremely thick, double-layered fur helps otters retain heat, even when swimming in Baikal's icy water. Otters usually hunt small fish, such as Golomyanka, almal, and other aquatic species, consuming about 2 to 4.4 pounds of food daily. With flexible bodies, webbed feet, and a powerful tail, they can dive dozens of feet deep to find prey. Their sharp eyes and quick reflexes allow them to detect and catch prey in an instant. Their smooth and graceful movements underwater make them one of the most effective hunters in Lake Baikal. The Eurasian otter is not only a skilled predator, but also an important indicator of environmental quality. They can only thrive in clean waters with abundant food sources. Therefore, the presence of otters usually signals a healthy ecosystem. By controlling populations of small fish and invertebrates, they help maintain balance in the lake's food chain. For the Buryat people living around Lake Baikal, the Baikal seal and otter have long been regarded as treasures of the water, symbols of the richness and vitality of this land. In many local legends, they are closely tied to stories of sacred nature and life-giving waters. However, both the Baikal seal and the Eurasian otter are now facing increasingly serious challenges. Environmental pollution, human activities, and climate change are directly impacting the ecosystem of Lake Baikal. Rising water temperatures are altering living conditions for many fish species, especially the Golomyanka, an important food source for both animals. These changes could affect their ability to reproduce and maintain their populations in the future. In response, many conservation and environmental protection programs for Lake Baikal are being implemented to reduce pollution, protect the water source, and preserve biodiversity. These efforts not only help safeguard the Baikal seal and Eurasian otter, but also contribute to protecting one of the most valuable freshwater ecosystems on the planet for future generations. In the vast taiga forests of Siberia, the Eurasian lynx is one of the most mysterious and effective predators. This wild cat species first appeared around 2 million years ago and has adapted perfectly to the freezing environment of the northern hemisphere. An adult lynx weighs about 40 pounds and measures nearly 4 feet long. Their gray-brown coat with black spots allows them to blend seamlessly into the forest and snow-covered landscape. The most striking feature is the black tufts of fur on the tips of their ears, which enhance sound localization. With strong legs and leaps covering several yards, lynx commonly hunt snowshoe hares, squirrels, and other rodents. By controlling populations of small herbivores, they help protect vegetation and maintain the balance of the forest ecosystem. In summer, when the Siberian forests are lush and green, lynx often hide in dense areas and patiently wait for the right moment before launching a precise attack. Much smaller than the lynx, Pallas's cat is one of the most distinctive wild cats in Asia. They measure about 12 to 30 inches long and weigh between 4 and 11 pounds. Despite their small size, their extremely thick fur makes Pallas's cats appear larger than they actually are. This species originated from the steppes and highlands of Central Asia before adapting to the cold regions of Siberia. Their large eyes and excellent vision in low-light conditions make them effective hunters at dawn, dusk, and during the night. The main diet of Pallas's cats consists of voles, lemmings, and other small animals. They usually move slowly, using terrain and low grass to approach prey undetected. Unlike many other cats, Pallas's cats rarely climb and instead hide in rock crevices, bushes, or abandoned burrows. Though small, they play an important role in controlling rodent populations in the grasslands and open forests of Siberia. Farther north, on the tundra regions that remain snow-covered for most of the year, the Arctic fox is one of the best adapted animals to the freezing environment. An adult weighs about 7 to 20 pounds and possesses the thickest fur of any canine species. In winter, their white coat makes them almost disappear against the snow, providing both warmth and camouflage while hunting. Arctic foxes mainly eat lemmings, voles, seabirds, and other small animals. They have extremely sensitive hearing, capable of detecting prey movements beneath thick snow. Once they locate the position, they leap upward and then plunge headfirst into the snow to catch their prey. During periods of food scarcity, Arctic foxes also scavenge leftovers from polar bear or wolf kills. In doing so, they help clean the environment and make maximum use of available resources in the Arctic ecosystem. Their large, bushy tail also functions as a natural blanket, helping retain heat when resting during the freezing winter days. Although much smaller than the Siberian tiger or brown bear, the Eurasian lynx, Pallas's cat, and Arctic fox all play very important roles in the ecosystem. The lynx helps control small herbivores in the taiga forests. Pallas's cat maintains rodent population balance in grasslands and mountainous areas, and the Arctic fox is a key factor in the food chain of the northern tundra. For the indigenous Ivan and Yakut peoples, these animals often appear in folk tales as intelligent, agile creatures with astonishing adaptability. Although they are not currently facing severe extinction risks, like the Siberian tiger or Amur leopard, all three species are still affected by climate change. Shorter winters, earlier snowmelt, and changes in prey populations are directly impacting their lives. Therefore, many protected areas in Siberia are being maintained and expanded to safeguard their natural habitats, helping these small but powerful predators continue to thrive in the wild northern world. The reindeer is one of the most iconic animals of Siberia. They live in large herds, sometimes numbering in the thousands, and undertake annual migrations of hundreds of miles across the tundra and taiga forests. Their ancestors appeared during the Ice Age and gradually adapted to the harsh, cold climate of the north. Their double-layered fur helps them retain heat efficiently during freezing winters, while their large hooves act as natural shovels to dig through snow in search of food. Each day, reindeer can consume about 9 to 11 pounds of moss, lichen, and other vegetation. Their large antlers are used not only in competition between individuals, but also to help dig for food. During migrations, the lead animals serve as guides, while younger or weaker individuals are protected in the middle of the herd. This unity helps them survive long journeys in harsh natural conditions. The red deer is one of the most common herbivore species in the Siberian forests. They usually live in herds of 10 to 20 individuals and can reach speeds of about 34 miles per hour when fleeing predators. Their reddish-brown coat helps them blend into the forest environment, especially in autumn when the leaves change color. With sensitive ears and a highly developed sense of smell, red deer can detect danger from a considerable distance. Their main food includes grass, young leaves, tree buds, and other plants. In summer, when food is abundant, they eat heavily to build up energy reserves for the long winter ahead. Red deer are not only an important food source for Siberian tigers, gray wolves, and many other predators, but they also help control vegetation growth, maintaining balance in the forest ecosystem. The moose is the largest deer species in the world and one of the most impressive animals in Siberia. An adult male can stand over 6.6 feet tall at the shoulder and weigh more than 1,500 pounds. Their most striking feature is their enormous antlers, which can span over 5 feet wide. Through hundreds of thousands of years of evolution, moose have adapted perfectly to the waterlogged forests, swamps, and riverbanks of western Siberia. They consume about 44 pounds of vegetation daily, including tree leaves, young branches, grass, and aquatic plants. Their long legs allow moose to move easily through shallow water, mud, or deep snow. In the process of feeding and moving, they help disperse seeds and add nutrients to the soil through their droppings, supporting the growth of many other plant species. In spring, when the snow begins to melt and nature awakens after the long winter, the sight of moose slowly walking through waterlogged areas has become a familiar part of the Siberian landscape. Although they have different lifestyles and habitats, reindeer, red deer, and moose all play particularly important roles in the Siberian ecosystem. They serve as the main food source for many large predators while helping maintain vegetation balance through their feeding and movement. For the indigenous Yakut people, reindeer have long been regarded as a symbol of life on the tundra, closely tied to the culture and livelihood of the community. Meanwhile, the moose is often called the gentle giant of the northern forests due to its massive size and relatively calm nature. Today, Climate change, forest fires, and resource extraction activities are altering the habitats of these animals. However, many nature reserves and wildlife protection programs continue to be implemented to maintain migration routes, protect food sources, and ensure that these symbols of the Siberian land will continue to exist in the future. Every spring, as the snow and ice begin to melt and the Siberian lands gradually awaken after the long winter, the whooper swan returns from wintering grounds in Europe and other temperate regions. With their graceful long necks, striking white plumage, and distinctive yellow and black beaks, they are one of the most recognizable birds of the North. Through millions of years of evolution, whooper swans have adapted to the lakes, marshes, and vast wetlands of Siberia. They build nests using grass, dry leaves, and natural materials along lake shores to raise the next generation. Their diet consists mainly of aquatic plants, roots, and small underwater creatures. During their movements and feeding, swans unintentionally disperse seeds to various areas, helping support the recovery of vegetation after winter. Their far-carrying calls can be heard from great distances and have become one of the signature sounds, announcing the return of spring across the forests and plains of Siberia. Notably, whooper swans usually mate for life, making them a symbol of bonding and stability in nature. While the swan brings life back from the sky and water, squirrels and chipmunks quietly contribute to regenerating the forests from the ground. Despite their small size, they play an important role in the development of the taiga ecosystem. In autumn, when trees begin to disperse seeds, squirrels spend most of their time collecting and storing food for winter. A single individual can bury hundreds or even thousands of seeds in various locations throughout the forest. However, not all of these seeds are retrieved. The forgotten ones will germinate when conditions are favorable, creating new young trees and contributing to the natural regeneration of the forest. With their reddish, brown, or gray fur and agile climbing ability, squirrels easily move through the canopies of pine and birch trees. Their quick feet and dexterous toes help them handle seeds, pine cones, and various food sources efficiently. Even when spring returns, they continue their role in seed dispersal, helping maintain the diversity and vitality of the forest. Although completely different in size and lifestyle, the whooper swan and squirrels both represent the endless process of renewal in Siberian nature. One species brings spring back from journeys spanning thousands of miles, while the other quietly sows the seeds for future forests. For the indigenous Buryat people, the whooper swan has long been regarded as the messenger of spring, a symbol of renewal and hope. Squirrels are beloved as the little friends of the forest, diligently contributing to the sustenance of the ecosystem. Although neither species currently faces severe extinction risks, climate change is still creating significant impacts. Temperature changes may affect the swan's migration timing or alter the flowering and seeding cycles of the many tree species that squirrels depend on. Therefore, nature reserves in Siberia are focusing on protecting wetlands, lakes, and vast taiga forests to ensure these symbols of renewal continue to accompany Siberian nature for generations to come. Summer in Siberia is the period when nature is most active throughout the year. In many northern areas, the sun barely sets, providing daylight that lasts around the clock. the summer sunlight spreads across the enormous taiga forest, covering more than 6.6 million square miles, warming the land that has been frozen for many months. Snow and ice begin to melt, supplying enormous amounts of water to major rivers such as the Lena, Yenisei, and Ob. These mighty rivers surge through plains, forests, and marshes, carrying essential nutrients for the growth of countless species. After the long and harsh winter, this is the time when Siberia truly awakens. Trees, animals, and entire vast ecosystems enter their most vibrant phase of development for the year. Across the taiga forests, trees grow at a remarkably fast rate. Pine, fir, and birch trees simultaneously sprout lush, green new leaves. Beneath the forest canopy, grass and low-growing plants quickly cover the ground, forming vast meadows. This is also when food becomes most abundant. Millions of insects appear. Migratory birds return to nest and breed, turning the once quiet winter forest into a bustling scene like never before. Birdsong, insect sounds, and the flow of streams blend together, creating the vivid picture characteristic of Siberian summer. During this short period, every creature takes full advantage of the abundant energy to grow and prepare for the next cold season. In the dense forests, predators also enter a period of intense activity. Siberian tigers silently patrol their vast territories, taking advantage of the long days to search for prey. Their striped coats allow them to almost disappear among the shifting light and shadow of the forest. Lynx also move quietly beneath the trees, using their sharp hearing and vision to detect snowshoe hares and rodents. Meanwhile, red deer and moose enter their breeding and rearing season. Young are born in summer when food is most plentiful. They learn to walk, run, and quickly adapt to survive in an environment full of dangers. In the mountain and rocky highland regions, snow leopards also take advantage of summer to build up energy. As snow retreats to higher elevations, herds of ibex and other herbivores appear more frequently on the slopes. This is a favorable time for snow leopards to hunt and prepare for the long winter ahead. At Lake Baikal, the deepest freshwater lake in the world, summer brings equally important changes. Slightly warmer water temperatures create conditions for many endemic fish species, such as golomyanka and amul, to spawn. The abundant food supply attracts Baikal seals and otters to remain active. Seals dive deep into dark water layers to hunt fish, while otters swim agilely along the lake shores in search of prey. Across Siberia, summer is the time of growth, reproduction, and energy accumulation, because all species understand that a long and harsh winter still awaits ahead. When autumn arrives, Siberia enters one of the most beautiful moments of the year. The vast taiga forests transform into brilliant shades of gold, orange, and red from the changing leaves. Interspersed among the deep green pine forests are rows of birch trees shedding their leaves, creating a colorful landscape before winter returns. The first cold winds begin to blow across the tundra and plains, carrying signals of the harsh weather to come. Days grow shorter, and temperatures drop week by week, reminding every creature that the favorable period is quickly ending. This is the season of preparation, when animals across Siberia must make use of every remaining day to accumulate energy and food for the long winter ahead. On the Kamchatka Peninsula, autumn marks one of the most important natural events of the year, the salmon migration season. Millions of salmon return from the ocean to the rivers where they were born to spawn. The normally peaceful rivers become lively as salmon crowd, together swimming upstream. This is also when brown bears gather in the greatest numbers along the rivers. Adult bears stand in the cold water, patiently waiting for opportunities to catch salmon fighting their way up the rapids. A single adult salmon contains a huge amount of energy, helping bears quickly build up fat before winter. On some days, a brown bear can eat dozens of pounds of fish. The layer of fat beneath their skin thickens rapidly, becoming energy reserves that help them survive the many months of hibernation. For brown bears, autumn is the period that determines success or failure for the entire coming winter. In the taiga forests, large predators also become more active. Siberian tigers and Amur leopards spend more time tracking herds of deer, elk, and wild boar that are taking advantage of the remaining food before the cold sets in. Food sources are still fairly abundant, but time is running out. Every successful hunt helps them accumulate more energy and maintain their condition for the harsh months ahead. After taking down large prey, they often drag the carcass to a hidden location or cover it with leaves and dry branches to use over many days. On the high mountain slopes, snow leopards also enter the most important phase of the year. As temperatures drop, many herbivore species begin moving to lower elevations in search of food. This creates additional hunting opportunities for snow leopards, helping them prepare for the long winter on the freezing mountain peaks. In the northern tundra and plains, reindeer begin their large-scale migrations. Thousands of individuals move across vast open lands in search of areas with better conditions for winter. Their large hooves help them dig through the early thin snow layer to reach the moss and lichen below. This journey, spanning hundreds of miles, is one of the most impressive migrations in Siberia. However, experienced predators always follow the reindeer herds. Packs of gray wolves silently trail behind, observing and waiting for the right opportunity. Using pack hunting tactics, they usually target old, injured, or young individuals that cannot keep up with the herd's pace. Howls echoing across the vast plains become a familiar sound of the northern autumn. This is the time when nature displays both its abundance and its harshest laws of survival. As winter draws near, every species must race against time to prepare for the greatest challenge of the year. Siberia enters its harshest period of the year when winter arrives. Temperatures in many areas can drop below -58 degrees Fahrenheit, and biting cold winds sweep across the vast taiga forests, plains, and tundra. Snow falls continuously, covering the ground with a thick layer from about 1.5 feet to nearly 6.5 feet, turning the entire region into a white world. Rivers gradually freeze over, lake surfaces become as hard as rock, and daylight hours grow shorter and shorter. On the surface, Siberia seems to sink into silence, but behind that freezing landscape is a daily struggle for survival. This is the season when all animal species face their greatest challenge, finding enough food and preserving body heat to survive until spring. In the snow-covered forests, the Siberian tiger continues its hunting journeys. Its thick fur helps it withstand the extreme cold, while its large paws aid movement across deep snow. It quietly tracks red deer, elk, or wild boar amid the biting winds. Each hunt consumes a great deal of energy, so the tiger must choose its target carefully. Not far away, gray wolf packs are also constantly active. In winter, their greatest strength is teamwork. The whole pack coordinates to chase migrating reindeer herds or isolated weaker prey. Howls echoing through the night are not only a means of communication, but also a signal that the hunt is beginning. For wolves and tigers, every meal in winter is extremely precious, as it can determine their ability to survive the coming weeks. On the northern tundra, the Arctic fox displays remarkable adaptability. Its thick white fur helps it stay warm and blend completely with the snowy environment. It constantly moves to search for lemmings, voles, and other small animals hiding beneath the snow. Thanks to its extremely keen hearing, the Arctic fox can locate prey even when it cannot see them. Upon detecting a target, it suddenly leaps high and dives into the snow to catch its meal. Farther north toward the Arctic Ocean, polar bears face an even tougher battle. They spend many hours, even days, waiting beside seals breathing holes in the ice. A single moment of carelessness can cause the hunt to fail. In recent years, sea ice has been melting earlier and shrinking in area, forcing many bears to travel farther in search of food, making their lives harder than ever. Smaller predators such as lynxes and Pallas's cats also face similar challenges. Their wide paws and thick fur help them move efficiently on snow, but food sources in winter are always very limited. They must spend more time hunting snowshoe hares, voles, and small rodents. Just one failed hunt or a few days without food can cause them to lose precious energy. For small animals, winter is not only a battle against the cold, but also a battle against prolonged hunger. Each passing day is a new challenge, demanding patience, adaptability, and a strong will to survive. Thus, Siberia's winter is not just a season of ice and snow. It is the harshest phase in nature's cycle, where strength, intelligence, and adaptability are tested to their limits. Individuals that survive the winter will enter spring with the chance to reproduce and continue the next generation. Those less fortunate will become part of the natural law that has existed in Siberia for hundreds of thousands of years. In that icy world, life continues, quietly but persistently, waiting for the warm sun to return. After many months submerged in freezing cold, spring finally returns to Siberia. Temperatures gradually rise, the winds become less harsh, and sunshine begins to appear more often in the northern sky. The snow and ice accumulated throughout winter melt, flowing into major rivers such as the Lena, Yenisei, and Ob, carrying water and nutrients for the entire ecosystem. Fields and forests once buried under white snow now gradually reveal brown earth and the first green sprouts. Across Siberia, nature awakens from a long sleep. Trees bud, fresh grass begins to grow again, and flocks of migratory birds return one by one from the south. This is the season of rebirth, when life once again spreads across a land famous for its harshness. For many animal species, spring marks the beginning of a new cycle. Brown bears wake up after months of hibernation with significantly reduced fat reserves. They quickly begin searching for food, from plant roots and fresh grass to insects and animal carcasses left over from winter. In the regions near the Arctic Ocean, Polar bears also enter an important phase, as they must actively hunt seals to replenish lost energy. In the Siberian sky, flocks of whooper swans reappear after journeys of thousands of miles. They head to lakes that have just thawed to build nests and breed. The resounding calls of the swans signal that spring has truly begun. Wetlands become more vibrant as numerous other waterbird species return to find mates and raise new generations. In the taiga forests, spring is also the breeding season for many herbivorous animals. Red deer, elk, and many other species give birth as food sources become more abundant. The young take wobbly steps among newly grown grasses, learning to adapt to the vast world around them. Their arrival brings new life opportunities to the entire ecosystem. But it also attracts the attention of predators. Siberian tigers, gray wolves, and lynxes continue their hunts, but spring is often more favorable as prey numbers increase after winter. This is also the time when predators raise their young and pass on survival skills accumulated over many generations. At Lake Baikal, spring brings clear changes. The thick ice layers covering the lake throughout winter begin to crack and melt, creating large areas of open water. Baikal seals appear on the remaining ice floes to rest and care for their pups, while Eurasian otters become more active as fish become plentiful. The clear blue waters of the lake once again teem with life, supporting thousands of species after the cold months. Across Siberia, from deep forests and vast plains to lakes and distant tundra, nature completes its familiar cycle. Life flourishes again after the harsh winter, proving the extraordinary adaptability of the region's animals and plants. However, this cycle now faces increasingly large challenges. Climate change is altering the timing of ice melt, breeding seasons, and food sources for many animal species. Forests reduced by wildfires and human activities are also adding pressure to Siberia's already fragile ecosystem. A land that remained stable for thousands of years is now forced to adapt to changes happening faster than ever. And that is the next chapter in Siberia's story, where life and death have always walked side by side beneath the permafrost, but now face unprecedented challenges in history. Today, Siberia is undergoing rapid changes unseen in modern history. Winters in many areas have become shorter, with less snow and changing ice cover durations on rivers and lakes. Meanwhile, summers are lasting longer, with more frequent heat waves and forest fires. Scientists believe the Arctic region and much of Siberia are warming significantly faster than the global average. These changes are affecting every ecosystem, from the taiga forests and tundra to the sea ice regions of the Arctic Ocean. One of the most noticeable impacts is the melting of permafrost. Millions of hectares of land that were once frozen year-round are gradually losing stability, altering landscapes and the habitats of many animal species. The vast taiga forests are also facing increased risks of wildfires, spreading pests, and changes in vegetation. As habitats shift, animals are forced to adapt to new food sources, new migration routes, and entirely different survival conditions. The Siberian tiger, the symbol of Russia's Far East forests, remains one of the most successful conservation stories of the 21st century. From the brink of extinction in the mid-20th century, the wild population has now recovered to approximately 750 to 800 individuals. However, they still face pressure from habitat fragmentation, forest fires, and illegal poaching. Important prey species such as red deer, elk, and wild boar are also impacted by climate change and disease, making the food chain increasingly fragile. At Lake Baikal, the deepest freshwater lake in the world and home to about 20% of the planet's unfrozen freshwater, changes in water temperature are affecting many endemic species. Shifts in the timing of ice formation and melting influence the life cycles of golemyanka, amul, and many plankton species. These fluctuations ripple throughout the food chain, impacting Baikal seals, Eurasian otters, and water birds that depend on the lake's ecosystem. Farther north, polar bears are facing one of the greatest challenges since the species appeared. Summer sea ice continues to decline, forcing them to swim farther and expend more energy to find seals. Although the global population currently stands at approximately 22,000 to 31,000 individuals, many local populations have shown signs of decline due to reduced hunting grounds. In addition to climate change, poaching and resource extraction remain serious threats. The Amur leopard, one of the world's rarest big cats, currently has only about 120 to 150 mature individuals in the wild. Although numbers have increased compared to a few decades ago, they still rely heavily on protection programs and habitat restoration. Logging, infrastructure development, and the expansion of industrial zones continue to put pressure on many important wilderness areas. However, there are still positive signs. Many nature reserves in Russia have been expanded, creating ecological corridors that connect previously fragmented areas. Modern technologies such as trail cameras, satellite tracking devices, drones, and artificial intelligence are being used to monitor wildlife and detect poaching activities. Thanks to these efforts, populations of Siberian tigers and Amur leopards have shown clear signs of recovery in recent years. Projects to restore wetlands, protect water sources, and implement sustainable forest management are also being carried out across Siberia. Lake Baikal, the Lena River, and many other important ecosystems are receiving special attention to safeguard biodiversity and maintain the region's role in climate regulation. The future of Siberia is not just a story about Russia or the Arctic. It is one of the planet's most important wilderness areas, with a direct influence on global climate and the survival of thousands of species. Protecting Siberia means protecting part of Earth's future. Actions ranging from scientific research and nature conservation to raising community awareness all contribute to preserving this magnificent land for future generations. Siberia remains the land of legendary predators, great migrations, and unique ecosystems. But for these stories to continue, nature here needs more human support than ever before. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to join us in exploring more amazing journeys, or to learn about the survival struggles of wildlife in other harsh lands such as rugged Alaska or the wild Serengeti.